I'm Judge Regina Mincy. Make sure that your phones are muted or your computers are. Again, my name is Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have been recently arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused these cases of the offenses brought against them, and these cases have been turned over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this may and usually is defendant's initial appearance before a state court judge. So we're going to address several matters today, excuse me, including bond, possible arraignment, or consideration of a possible plea offer if one has been made at this state. I would also be providing a reset date for arraignment, and that reset date is April the 21st, 2022. So I'm going to begin and advise everyone that this entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. So I want the defendants on this case to remember that you have a constitutional right to remain silent, and anything that you say about the facts or the occurrences of your case can and will be used against you. Prosecutors are here and they're listening, so be careful, act accordingly, and follow the instructions of your attorney so that you don't say anything that is against your interest about your case. All right. The first case that we're handling, where are we?
So, Alex, you're on position 2.
Number 6, Ms. Bailey.
Oh, I think you all are talking at the same time.
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry, I apologize for that.
Okay.
Sub Annex, position number 2 and position number 10.
Okay. All right. I'll start with the South Annex, position 2. That is 22 CR 002101J, and that's Jade Bay. Is it Bay? B-E-Y?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you're charged with 1 count of failure to have license on person, a 2nd count of driving hit and run, and a 3rd count of duty of driver to stop at or return to the scene of an accident. And I'm sorry, I may have read that wrong. Failure to have license on person, driver hit and run, duty of driver to stop or return to the scene of accident. And I have loitering, prowling. Do I have 4 charges or 3 charges, Madam Clerk? With the offense date of April the 6th, 2022. How many charges are there?
3.
3.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
I have an
Failure to
error?
have license. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, dear.
Failure to have license on persons, driving hit and run, duty of driver to stop at or return to scene of accident, and loitering and prowling.
Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay. I was making sure I couldn't count today. For some reason, I counted 4 instead of 3. So just making sure I got my charges correct.
First arrest.
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Ms. Falk. How are you?
Your Honor, I'll be the one speaking on this case.
Oh, I'm sorry. And you were muted, Ms. Falk. You're still
My
muted.
apologies. I'm going to go off video now.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Is it Segura?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
This happened in the night between April the 6th, 2022 and April the 7th at the location at 4060 Marshall Road, Atlanta. In this situation, the police arrived and made contact with a few residents of the incident location that stated that there was a red Honda that was occupied by 4 suspects that arrived on the property to fight residents that lived on the property. Witnesses on the property told the police that a group of women were there fighting, and they left in red Honda. Later on, the witness also stated that as the red Honda left, it hit another vehicle owned by Mr. Nulandi Youssef, spelled N-U-R-E-N-I, Yusuf, Y-U-S-U-F-F. Police then proceeded to leave the area to look for the Honda, which they found near the north of Marshall Road. When police approached the vehicle and made a traffic stop, They noticed that the driver's side window of the vehicle was shattered. Alongside, when they talked to the driver of the vehicle, the defendant, they found that she had no license. Whereas the state is recommending a $4,500 signature bond, $500 for the failure to have license, $2,000 for the driving hit and run, duty of driver to stop, and $2,000 for the local prowl. We're also asking for the conditions of narco, drugs, and weapons, no driving without a valid license, one-day anger awareness, and stay away from the 4060 Marshall Road location. Thank you.
Okay. And tell me this, the 4060 Herschel Road, what location or what is that location? Is that a residence or is that a business? Or
I
give
think
me,
it's some type of a hotel, apartment complex.
okay,
Yes, the village of College Park.
say that again.
I believe the full name of it is an apartment complex called the Village of College Park.
Okay, so that's the apartment complex. Do we, so are you asking for a stay away from that complex?
Yes, we believe the defendant is not lived there, but just went to that area to pick a fight with someone.
So you do or are not requesting a stay away?
We are requesting to stay away.
You said you are or you're not?
We are, yes, stay away from there.
Yes. Okay, stay away from there. No particular apartment, but just the whole complex.
Yes.
Okay, and are you requesting a stay away from Mr. Youssef or no?
No, we just know that his vehicle was the one that was damaged. We're not sure if he was an intended target of the defendant.
Okay, so we're not concerned about contact with him.
No.
Okay, all right, and go ahead, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we're also asking for that signature bond. However, we are just opposing the one-day anger awareness class. Your Honor, Ms. Bay is 18 years of age, no criminal history, first offense. She's been a Georgia resident all her life. She currently resides with her mother, Ms. Jill Renee, and her grandmother. She is currently in high school. She's in 12th grade, and she is expected to attend college this fall with her options of Georgia State or Clark Atlanta. Ms. Bay is also currently working at Chipotle. Your Honor, she's been working there for the past few months. So again, Your Honor, we are asking for a signature bond so that she can be released to our mother. We are also opposing the one-day anger awareness. We are not opposed to the stay away and no contact with Mr. Youssef, but we are asking for that signature bond.
Okay. And she is on target to graduate, right? That's a big deal with me.
Yes, Your Honor, she's expected to attend college in this fall.
Great. Okay. All right, we're going to turn this around and not ever see you again, Miss Bay, okay? We want you to get things together. I'm going to go ahead and grant the signature bond. Grant this signature bond through the jail, but she is 18, so she can sign her own bond. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so she won't need anyone to co-sign, correct?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to enter the $4,500 signature bond. That will be $500 on the failure to have license on person, $2,000 for the duty of the driver to stop with the hit and run accident, and the third charge of lauder prowl for a total $2,000 on the second two and $500 on the first. So that will be a total of $4,500. Signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I am going to order a stay away from the apartment complex, the villages of Camp Creek. And I'm just making sure that the defendant does not reside at that location. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ms. Bay, so that we don't get in any more trouble or have no issues, I want you to stay away from that apartment complex, okay? If you go back there, you can immediately be arrested and you'll back in the Fulton County Jail, so do not return there. They've not asked for no further contact, so we won't deal with that. No driving unless you have a valid license from DDS. If you do not, then you should not be driving. If you are, you should have a valid license and have it on your person. And I think that will be all that we need to do. Anything else we need to take up?
I want to still ask for the one-day anger awareness because the intention for the defendant being on that location was to fight. So I think the state still believes that still might be a good idea.
Your Honor, we're opposed to the one-day anger awareness class. My client adamantly denies any allegations of her starting a fight or being a part of a fight. And the warrant does not even suggest that my client was even within the allegations of the group of women of fighting. It just says that she was the alleged driver of a red Honda.
Okay. All right. I will not order the one-day anger awareness, but I will caution Ms. Bay, be careful who you're around and who you hang out with so that you don't wind up in this situation again. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Next case.
Position 10, Ms. Lane.
This is 22 CR 00211 OE or 0E. This is State versus Myasha Lane. I'm sorry. Or Myesha Lane. You're charged with 1 count of willful obstruction of the law enforcement officer. The offense date is April the 7th, 2022. Do you have anything pre-trial?
First arrest.
Okay. All right.
It is me this time, Your Honor.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking. I was not saying your name. I'm sorry. Now I will say, go ahead, Ms. Fogg. I was looking for another person. All right. No worries. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. This occurred actually for a length of time starting around April 7th of 2022. So this defendant was questioned several times by the police in connection with the fugitive warrant for an individual. At this time, because we only have the warrant and not the police report, we do not know the fugitive's name. However, we do know police interviewed her several times regarding having contact with this person. She repeatedly told the officers she had not seen or had she had any contact with the fugitive. And officers then later discovered through their investigation that not only has she had contact with this individual, but she had been driving him around as well. So that was the basis for the warrant for obstruction of an officer. The state's recommendation, based on her lack of history and this not being a violent offense, is a $3,000 signature bond. We would ask that she have no further contact with the individual, even though we do not have a name, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons is provided.
Okay. All right. Ms. Helen?
Yes, Your Honor. I just would like to say, yes, we do agree to the signature bond. I would like to go into the Ayala factors for Ms. Lane. This is her first arrest. When I spoke to her, she currently is a college graduate out of New York. She does have her bachelor's in arts and English literature and Black studies. She is 4 months pregnant, Your Honor, so she is an expectant mother. So her child's father is incarcerated right now. So that is why we are in agreement with the signature bond and the amount, because she has no one else to bond her out. So she would need this signature bond to be able to get out, get back working, and get back to taking care of her family, Your Honor. I do have a functioning number for her in case we need to get in contact with her at all.
All right. And she's how old?
I believe she's 33.
32. Okay. How long has she been in the Atlanta area?
She's been in the Atlanta area 2 years. So she is from New York, but she's been in the Atlanta area 2 years, Fulton County. She works in film production and has been doing so for the last 2 years. And she recently just got hired for a new position, and she would like to, again, utilize the signature bond and get back working. And I do believe that job is still waiting for her if she can be released.
Okay. All right, I will grant the $3,000 signature bond. I will grant that through the jail. And I will also order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm going to order a no further contact with the fugitive or anyone who is a fugitive from justice at this time, even though we don't have a name. Don't want that to get you in trouble, Ms. Lane, to be harboring or participating with anyone who is a fugitive from justice. So make sure we have that in the bond conditions.
Understood, Judge.
Okay. I think that's all I need to take up at this time. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Nothing further from the state.
Thank you,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, next we have position number 6 in courtroom 2, Ms. Bailey, position number 6.
This is case number 22 CR 002107F. And I think we may have it written backwards. Is it Darianasha Bailey? The last name is Bailey?
Darianasha Bailey, yes.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And you're charged with one count of battery,
Yes, ma'am.
charged with one
I'm
count?
sorry, Your Honor.
Yes.
Their position 3 is the co-defendant on this case, so we would like for both of them to be heard together.
All right. Is
And Your Honor,
is Mr. Brazil in courtroom 2?
I'll go get him. Give me 2 seconds, Your Honor.
Okay.
and Your Honor, I represent Miss Bailey, and Mr. Brazil is a conflict case.
Okay.
I represent Mr. Brazil, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. McLeod. Thank you.
Your Honor, this is position number 3, Mr. Brazil.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and at least call that one as well. 22 CR 002104F. And is it Creole Brazil? You're charged with one count of battery family violence with the offense date of April the 7th, 2022. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. Someone is not muted. Well, it may be coming from the
You want
courtroom.
me to go? What are
Yeah.
we doing first?
Hold on, Miss Keno, is it Yolanda Keno? Can you hear me? If you can, I need you to mute yourself. Yolanda Keno, that's what it says on the screen. Go ahead, pretrial.
Which one are we doing first?
We are going to do position 6. Bailey,
This is a second arrest. Last arrest was September 2020 for obstruction, disorderly conduct.
okay.
Yeah, that's it. It says she on probation, but it timed out because that was March 4th, 2021, 12 months. So she not on probation.
All right,
I'll take it.
you'll take her?
I know I ain't put her on the list, did I?
No,
Yeah, I'll take her.
okay.
And as far as Brazil, second arrest,
Mm-hmm.
he has an open case in Superior Court 22 SC 181344. Armed robbery, ag assault, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission, and obstruction. Oh, no, that's it.
Okay. All right, let's hear the case, Miss Sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. In Ms. Bailey's case, the officers responded to 128.
I'm getting, I think we have a bad connection or something. Can't hear you. I'm getting every other, it's slurred. Let's try again and see.
Okay, I'm sorry. Are you able to hear me?
That's better, yes.
Okay. For Ms. Bailey's case, officers responded to 128 Shadow Creek Court in Fairburn regarding a physical dispute. The officers met with the victim, whose name is Shundrevia, Shundrevria. Last name is Caston. The officers met with this victim, who stated she came over to the incident location to have the defendant remove a car from her home when the defendant became very aggressive with her. The defendant attempted to punch this victim, and when the victim braced for the blow, her shoulder dislocated from her arm. And when the defendant saw that the victim was disabled, she struck this victim multiple times. The victim in this case told officers that the victim from Mr. Brazil's case actually jumped in to protect her. So the state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, a stay away, a one-day anger awareness course, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Bailey is strongly denying these allegations. She did express to me that Ms. Caston was the primary aggressor, and after she was struck from Ms. Caston, that Ms. Caston, along with her mother and another sibling of hers, jumped on Ms. Bailey, in which she sustained injuries. I'm asking for a signature bond on Ms. Bailey's behalf, Your Honor, or a reasonable bond of no more than $2,000 so that Ms. Bailey can get the assistance from her family to bail out. She's 21 years of age. She's been a Georgia resident for the past 8 years. She was previously staying with Mr. Brazil, as that was her boyfriend. They were living in the same residence for the past 2 years. She expressed that she did plan on moving out on the 15th, that she is not opposed to staying away from that location if the judge so orders, that she will be able to go stay with her sister, as she does have family residing in Georgia as well. Ms. Bailey graduated from high school. She's also gainfully employed at the FedEx, where she's been working for the past 3 to 4 months. And she also works a second job at a nightclub, where she's been working for the past 4 to 5 months. Given Ms. Bailey's very limited criminal history, Your Honor, again, I am asking for that signature bonds or a very low bond. She did express that she will not have the means to afford a very high bond, as she is relying on the assistance from family members, Your Honor. So again, we're asking for that signature bonds and not opposed to a stay away or a no further contact.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order $3,500 signature bond through pretrial per judge. I'm going to order no further contact with Shundrevia Caston, who's the victim in this case. I'm going to order a stay away from 128 Shadow Creek Court. Ms. Bailey, you need to go live somewhere else. Since you are able to do that, do not return to that location. I'm going to order the one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
And Your Honor, one last thing, will she be allowed to have a one-time escort with law enforcement to gather her remaining personal belongings?
Yes, and add that as a condition of one-time police escort to return to that location to retrieve any personal belongings, yes.
Thank you.
All right, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to position number 3. That's Mr. Brazil.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I have heard the facts of the case. Anything else that you need to add in addition, Ms. Sorry?
Well, with this case, Your Honor, this defendant, the victim in the case is his mother, Ladrisha Brownlee, LADRESHA BROWNLEE. Your Honor, with this victim, she was drugged through the house by this defendant when the victim tried to break up the incident between the last co-defendant and the last victim. This defendant does have an open case in felony court, and he was given a $38,000 split bond. It's not the same victim, as he does have an ag assault. So he does present a risk of reoffending, also intimidating the witness because it is his mother, and he does have another open case. The state's recommendation is a $3,500 surety bond with conditions of no contact with the victim, a stay away, 1-day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Your Honor, the victim is present on the Zoom hearing. I'm not sure if she would like to speak to the court.
All right. Ms. Brownlee, where are you? Oh, I see. Can you unmute yourself, please, ma'am?
Can you hear me?
Now we can. All right.
Okay.
Would you like to address the court today?
Yes, I would.
Can you raise your right hand for me? And make sure you're not driving, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
All right. What would you like to tell me about this incident?
This incident that happened, my son was put in the middle of this situation. It's been a lot going on in regards to the girl that he's with. She's basically came in and destroyed our whole family. So Creole is allowed to come home. He was never asked to leave. The problems that we have been having has not been with Creole. They have been with his girlfriend. And she's been moving around from place to place, place to place.
Your Honor, I'm going to have to object to that testimony
Okay.
as pertains to my client.
All right.
Your Honor, this is a victim in the case, so she does have a right to be heard at hearings per the Victim Bill of Rights. So we will ask the court to hear her testimony.
Your Honor, Mrs. Bailey's case has already been heard and concluded, whereas the state did not call Ms. Brownlee to testify as it pertained to Ms. Bailey. This is pertaining to Mr. Brazil. So we're going to object to that testimony as far as where Mrs. Bailey has been staying.
Okay. All right. And so on that evening, Ms. Brazil, Ms. Brownlee, you're listed as the victim in this case. And are you stating that you were not a victim, or were you a victim?
Yes, I was a victim.
Okay. And so the facts that make you the victim, and I don't really want you to go in too much detail, were an incident or altercation with your son, Mr. Brazil. Is that correct?
Yes, but the incident was me, my son, and she and her.
Okay. And so the her would be Miss Bailey. It was the three of you. Okay, the three of you have an incident. And so are you in fear of your son?
No, I'm not.
Okay. And your son lives with you, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And so was there an incident again involving all three of you?
That was the whole situation. It was basically her. She jumped on both my daughters. One ended up going to the hospital, and the other one, she is all scratched up in her face and everything from Miss Bailey.
Okay, so that would be a different matter. I'm concerned about you at this point with this case.
I'll be okay.
Okay. And have you had any other incidents like this with your son before? Regarding
No.
you? No?
Not like this.
Okay. And so your son and two daughters, do they all reside with you?
Yes,
Okay.
except for my oldest daughter. Her and her family lives right next door.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what I've done in that other case is that there is a stay away from your location from Miss Bailey. And
Mhm.
and you heard me rule and give that in the order, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And so that address, the Shadow Creek Court, is your home?
yes,
Okay. So Miss Bailey is not going to return to your home except one time with a police escort if she needs to get any items, okay?
okay. Now, is it okay if I just go ahead and get everything together and have it ready for her?
You should. That would be nice.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do on this case is with Mr. Brazil, I'm going to order a $3,500 surety bond.
Your Honor, I haven't had a chance to talk.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Miss McLeod. Please forgive me. I apologize. Go ahead, Miss McLeod. I'm so sorry.
My client is 21 years old, Your Honor. He has no criminal history. Sure, there is an open case, but he's presumed innocent in that case. With respect to this case, his mother has already spoken, and essentially what she has told me, because I had the opportunity of speaking to her before court, is that she feels that her son, his girlfriend, got into sort of a melee with his sisters, and he was just trying to help out his girlfriend. She doesn't feel like he victimized her, and she wants him back at home. Your Honor, I feel that in this case, it's not a situation where he was the person who started anything. The females were in an argument or a fight, and he just tried to kind of separate them. So essentially, I don't believe that he's at fault, John, and I think under the circumstances, he should get a signature bond. He told me that on the other case, they had him sitting in jail for over 2 months, 2 or 3 months, because he had a hard time getting out. He doesn't have any money to post a good bond again, Your Honor. And this is just a situation where he didn't start anything. He was just trying to help them out. And his mother has spoken, and she told me she absolutely wants her son back home. So I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond, given the fact that he just started a job, and there's just not enough money for him to pay for a bond, Your Honor. And based on the testimony of his mother, it was really a situation where he was trying to help out his girlfriend, who apparently is pregnant. And, you know, he just didn't want her to get into this fight. And it was just him trying to help her out.
Okay.
And Your Honor, we would like to remind the court that that open case is an ag assault, armed robbery, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. So it's a very violent offense. Also, Your Honor, the witness, she's his mother, so she is biased. He does have an open case, so she would likely try to take up for him in this situation. She did have injuries involved in this case. So we would ask the court to issue that stay away. There hasn't been enough time to cool off. And this was a family fight. So we would ask the court, to grant a surety bond in this case, and also to stay away, no contact with the victim. 1 day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Your Honor, this isn't about punishing my client. The Constitution of this country says that you are innocent until proven guilty. He's not been tried at all. Those are just allegations, and no matter how bad the allegations are, they are nothing more than allegations at this point. He has not been proven guilty. He could go to trial and be completely acquitted. Therefore, to say that those allegations are out there should not deprive him, considering the facts and circumstances of this particular case. His mother has testified that really all he was doing, it was really his girlfriend who had started something with her daughters and herself, and my client was just trying to break it up. That's just all that was. And I think under those circumstances, he should be able to get a signature bond, given the fact that what he did was not cause any violence. He was just trying to stop some violence.
Mm-hmm. All
And
right,
Your Honor, very briefly, the factors for bond hearings, it would be the Ayala factors. So he does present a risk of reoffending because he does have that open case. So those are the factors that the state is considering when asking for a surety bond in this case.
all right. All right, I have heard this matter from both sides, and I'm going to rule that we will issue a $2,500 surety bond. I will move it to 2,500 surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm not going to order a stay away from that location since the other person is going to stay away. I'm going to order no further violent contact with the victim, Ms. Brownlee. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, and that is all that I'm going to order. I'm not going to order the anger awareness course at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. That should conclude this matter. Good luck to you, Ms. Brownlee. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Honey, next we have position number 7, Ms. Daisy Davis, position number 7.
Okay. This is case number 22 CR 002106Y. Daisy Davis, you're charged with 1 count of simple assault, 1 count of criminal trespass, both with the offense date of April 7th, 2022. Do you have anything pre-trial?
Yes. She's a resident of Rochester, New York. Last arrest was January 2022. Criminal mischief, 2nd degree. That's a felony arrest. Criminal mischief, intent to damage property. That was an arrest from July 2021. Got a harassment 2nd degree conviction from July 2020. April 2020, criminal mischief, intent to damage property arrest. March 2020, resisting arrest. Equipment violation, driving while intoxicated. What else? And I got another criminal mischief and driving while intoxicated conviction from March 2020. Something from, yeah, that's it. So this is our first Georgia arrest.
All right. Ms. Sari?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, officers responded to 2052 Baker Road, Northwestern Atlanta, regarding a criminal trespass. Upon the officer's arrival, he actually witnessed the defendant pick up a rock, approach the victim's car, and smash the driver's side window, which caused it to crack. The victim is Lamar Hamilton, I'm sorry. The officer also noted that the defendant smashed the windshield prior to his arrival. As the officer transported the defendant to the jail, the defendant threatened to spit on him and anyone else who touched her. She actually put her head back and positioned her mouth in an attempt to spit on the officer. And the officer's name in this case is S. Barnett. With the defendant's history from trial, she does have that harassment conviction 2020, as well as the resisting arrest and the criminal mischief. The state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond with conditions of no contact with the victim, Mr. Hamilton, no further violent contact with Officer Barnett, 1 day anger awareness, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Nothing further.
Okay. Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll be asking for a bond amount no more than 1,000 if Ms. Davis is ineligible for that signature bond. She did express to me that she is strongly denying these allegations. She expressed that she is a resident from Rochester, New York, and that she came to Georgia to visit her friend, Mr. Hamilton, and that she has been here since March 30th, and she had anticipated on heading back home in just a few days before this alleged incident. Miss Davis is 28 years of age. Again, she's a resident from New York. She completed high school. Right now, Miss Davis is currently unemployed. She said that Mr. Hamilton was helping her get back home, but now that this alleged incident has occurred, she fears that she will not have the means to get back home to where her family resides, and she is desperately wanting to get back home, but assured me that she will come back to dispute these charges and handle her matters responsibly, Your Honor. So again, we are asking for a bond amount no more than 1,000, given Ms. Davis' inability to pay any bond amount at this current time if she's not eligible for that signature bond, Your Honor.
Okay. And Miss Sorry, you stated to stay away from this location. What was it, 2052? And your internet.
Baker Road.
Baker Road, okay. But we know that Miss Davis does not reside at that location, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I'm going to order a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial per judge. Does that pose a problem, Mr. Toussaint, for pretrial?
I mean, it does, but you prejudge it, so it's over.
And that is because she resides out of state. Will she be able to report by phone?
Whatever you order.
Okay.
Your Honor, what's the breakdown on that?
Oh, I'm sorry. On the simple assault, 1,500, and then on the criminal trespass, 1,000. So that's a total of 2,500. And so, Ms. Davis, you will have to report, and pretrial will give you those instructions on that while you're on bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. I'm going to order no further contact with Lamar Hamilton. No further violent contact with Officer Barnett. And a stay away from 2052 Baker Road. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm going to order you to take a one-day anger awareness course through pretrial. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. That should conclude this matter.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 9, Ms. Brianna Harris, position number 9.
This is case number 22 CR 002109Y. State versus Brianna Harris. You're charged with 1 count of battery. The offense date is April the 7th, 2022. Pretrial.
7 total. She's on probation out of Douglasville Municipal Court for suspended license. That came off of October 2021 arrest. April 2021 Douglas County misdemeanor theft by taking. May 2019 theft by conversion felony. 2009 shoplifting no low. And another 2009 arrest for shoplifting dead docket. And an 08 shoplifting DWAP. That's it.
All right. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This date of offense was yesterday, April 7th. It happened at Salon Studios at 1745 Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia. What happened was Miss Eagle, Naomi Eagle, that is Naomi, Eagle common spelling, is a hairstylist within a suite within that location. The defendant had an appointment. Miss Eagle notified her she was running behind. She would be late doing her hair. Essentially, an argument ensued via phone. And when the defendant arrived, she knocked on the door. Miss Eagle let her in. The defendant then said, "Who are you getting smart with?" and punched her in the face. An altercation then ensued, and Miss Eagle stated she grabbed a nearby object and used it to get the defendant off of her because she was afraid of her for her life. The defendant was not on scene when the police arrived. And in this situation, Your Honor, we do have some concerns about a risk of reoffense. The defendant has those 6 cycles between 2008 and 2021. We are showing the theft by conversion in 2019. And I just want to double check because I believe we were also showing, let me just make sure I'm not incorrect on that. Yes, a 2020 theft by taking as well from Douglas County. So, and then that 2021 suspended license, which she is currently on probation for. What concerns the state in this particular case is this was an unprovoked attack based on an argument that they had had. The defendant then went to that location and fought our victim. So for those reasons, we are asking for a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim in this case, Naomi Eagle, stay away from salon suites, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Harris is strongly denying these allegations. Ms. Harris was told by Ms. Eagle to come to retrieve her wig and her money. When Ms. Harris arrived to retrieve said items, Ms. Eagle declined to give Ms. Harris back her money. When Ms. Harris approached Ms. Eagle to retrieve said money, Ms. Eagle became combative and struck Ms. Harris. Ms. Harris suffered stab wounds, burn marks, and lacerations to her lower abdomen, Your Honor. Again, Ms. Harris strongly denies being the primary aggressor and was only defending herself, Your Honor. We acknowledge that Ms. Harris does have priors. However, Your Honor, I would like the court to consider that Ms. Harris has no history of violence. As we heard that all prior offenses were theft offenses, not violent offenses. Ms. Harris is not a violent person. She is 30 years of age. She's been a Georgia resident all of her life. She is the proud mother of 4 children in which she provides for: a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and 11-year-old. Right now, Ms. Harris currently relies on benefits. She is unemployed. However, she just started trying to work through a temp agency. She completed the 12th grade. She is not opposed to having no further contact with Miss Naomi Eagle. And she's also not opposed to staying away from that location, Your Honor. However, we are asking for a signature bond on this offense, Your Honor. And if she is not eligible for a signature bond, we are asking for a bond amount no more than $1,000, as she does not have the means to make any bond amount at this current time.
All right. I'm going to order a $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order stay away from 1745 Peachtree Street, the Salon Suites. Please do not return there, Ms. Harris. I'm going to order the 1-day anger awareness course. I'm going to order no further contact with Naomi Eagle. And I think that does it. Did I say no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond? Is there anything else I need to take up for me
Yes.
to try?
No, nothing further from the state.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, just one thing, given that this is a surety bond, Ms. Harris is not going to have the means to pay for a 1-day anger awareness class perhaps if she was given a signature bond, maybe the one-day anger and awareness through pretrial would work for her, but she's not going to be able to afford. So at this time, could
State
we
is
not?
amenable to removing the condition of one-day anger awareness and keeping the surety bond.
Okay, all right. We will remove that condition. So, Ms. Grace, remove the one-day anger awareness course. All right, anything else?
Good, Judge, thank you.
All right, thank you. What do we have next?
We have position number 12. Ms. Latoya Moore, position number 12.
Okay. This is case number 22 CR 002116D. Latoya Moore, you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence, offense date April 7th, 2022. Do you have anything pre-trial?
The 8th arrest. Resident of Hobart, Indiana. 2020 theft by conversion. 2020 failure to appear, probation violation. Got a theft by deception conviction from 2019. 2017 misdemeanor obstruction. Another 2017 obstruction conviction. 2015 misdemeanor possession of marijuana, NOLO. And a marijuana and DUI conviction from 2014.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I have a question about my charge.
Nope, can't talk at this time. Please don't interrupt. We'll get back to you. You can speak to your attorney, but you're not allowed to speak right now. Go ahead. Are you done pre-trial? Pre-trial?
I'm assuming that's a
I'm
yes.
done, I'm done.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure your screen didn't go out.
Simple assault, not aggravated battery.
Ms. Moore,
Yes, I was charged with simple assault.
hold on. You have an attorney. You're represented by Ms. Helen, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ms. Helen is going to speak on your behalf, but please do not speak at this point. You may say something that's going to be against your interest. So I'm going to admonish you once again, please do not speak. Thank you. All right, Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened at 3751 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Atlanta. It occurred on April 7th, so yesterday. So we're talking about less than 24 hours. Officers were dispatched to that location in regards to a domestic dispute. They spoke to Mr. William Gales, Gales, who resides with the defendant at that location. The defendant had locked Mr. Gales out of the home, accusing him of infidelity. At that point, she had removed his key from his keychain while he was not looking. The defendant stated that Mr. Gale stated he forced his way inside the home, and officers told them that because they both reside there, they could not put each other out. They had to go through a proper eviction process. When the officers then observed the defendant become very upset, go back into the house, when Mr. Gales then re-entered the home, now with police saying he had the all clear to go back in the home because he lived there as well, the defendant kept pushing on the door and would not let him in. She then reached around and scratched Mr. Gale in the face. The reason this was upgraded from a simple assault is because the officers then observed the scratch and a start of kind of like bruising to Mr. Gale's face based on what she had just done to him. The defendant then barricaded herself in her room. Mr. Gales tried to go back into the house. She was still pushing on the door and then moved from the door to her room, barricaded herself inside. At that point, Mr. Gales informed the police that the defendant had his handgun inside that room. And at that point, the officers demanded that the defendant come out of that room. And once she did, she was placed under arrest for the simple assault, which, as we've explained, has been upgraded to battery. I believe Mr. Gales is on the Zoom and may wish to speak. However, we would like to point out that this defendant's most recent history is that 2020 FTA and probation violation from Douglas County, which both shows that she is a risk of reoffense being that it's a probation violation, and a flight risk being that it's a failure to appear in court. Additionally, we know that she does have theft convictions on her history, but this incident was particularly concerning just because it was in the presence of officers, and it was, even though the officers had already explained he had a right to be in that residence, she did not de-escalate the situation. So we obviously have concerns for both of them being back at that residence together. To that end, we are requesting a $3,000 surety bond, that the defendant have no further contact with Mr. William Gales. We are further asking for a stay away from the incident location at 3751 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Atlanta, Georgia, a one-time law enforcement escort so that the defendant can retrieve her belongings, and one-day anger awareness. Nothing further from the state.
All right, Ms. Helen?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Moore is 29 years old. She is a college graduate from Purdue University. She is from Chicago. However, she's been in Georgia for the last 4 years as a resident. She does not have children. However, Your Honor, she does have a psych major that she is currently practicing in, and that she has 2 years left before she graduates. She is a honorably discharged from the National Guard, Judge. And that is why we're going to ask for a signature bond. When I spoke to Ms. Moore, she advised me that, yes, that's her residence as well. So we're asking for a signature bond and the stay away be removed from the 3751 MLK Drive. If not, she does have another address she will be able to relocate to, Judge. However, she did let me know her name is in that property as well, the 3751 MLK Drive. Currently, Judge, she is not working. She has no income to bond herself out. She recently just had surgery from a very serious surgery, Judge, and so she is not currently working. So effectively, we're asking for a signature bond, Judge. And if Your Honor feels that she is ineligible for that signature bond, we are asking for a bond of no more than $1,500. I do hear her history. However, this is not a long-standing violent individual, Your Honor, and so that is why we're asking for that signature bond.
And Your Honor, Your Honor may wish to hear from the victim if he is present today, because I believe some of what Ms. Helen said, especially about there being prior violence between the parties, will be contradicted.
Your Honor, I didn't speak about violence between the parties. I was talking about her history. I didn't hear a long-standing violent history. I would just ask that if he does testify, as to whether or not he wants contact with her at all.
Your Honor, my apologies, Ms. Helen, please finish.
Whether or not he wants contact with her, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, to that, the state would say, as Ms. Helen well knows, the Ayala factors include both the risk of reoffense and the danger to the victim. Both of those things, whether there have been prior violence in the past between these parties, would be relevant to both of those Ayala factors. To just simply ignore them and only talk about whether the victim wants contact or not is just to essentially toss two of the Ayala factors and say they don't matter.
I agree. All right, thank you. The victim in this case, Mr. Gales, are you on the screen? Okay, is that you? Galaxy A10E? I don't see you by name. Okay, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Hear me? Are you able to hear me?
We are. It's a little scratchy, but let's see if we can get through it. Do you wish to address the court today, Mr. Gales?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, put your hand down. I'm not getting a great strong connection. Let's see if we can get through this. What would you like to say to the court today about this incident, you and the defendant?
I'm scared for my life. I've been with her about 18 months. We have a relationship.
I'm getting a terrible connection and I'm only able to hear every other word or so. I did hear, I'm scared for my life. Don't want to put words in your mouth, but let's try it again, but your connection is not very strong or very good. Are you in fear for your life from this defendant right now? And I think we just lost him. Let's see if he's able to get back in.
Yes.
real quick. Miss Grace, there he comes. Looks like he's coming back. Okay,
Can you hear me?
let's see if this is a little better. Okay, I can hear you. Are you in fear? Are you in fear of Miss Moore at this time?
Yes, ma'am. This is a ongoing situation, and I'm very scared for my life. We can't. I try to have a conversation with her about little issues that we have in the past, and it's like if she don't agree with what I'm saying, she wants to get aggressive, start tearing up all the valuable things that I have, that I work hard for. I do security, as you can see. I'm at work right now. Anything valuable to me, she would take possession of it, destroy it, whatever she feels to do at the time. And if she can, she'll hit me, as she did. She scratched me on my eye. Not sure if you can see it. The police took a picture of it. It was swollen yesterday. It came down a little bit. I washed it and stuff. I'm scared, ma'am. I call her brothers, her dad, come get her, maybe she could cool off, but none of them would never come. Finally, the police actually seen her in action, so that's why she was apprehended. I don't want to be her in prison, but I do want her to stay away from me until she could at least cool off or something like that. Because right now, it's just going to be an ongoing process, and I don't want to be in trouble. So right now, I think she should stay away. Her name is not on the lease. Her dad did co-sign for me to get into the apartment, but he's not on the lease. He's just a co-signer. I'm on the lease. I pay all the bills, everything. I try to comfort Mrs. Moore. Let her, rest and do what she have to do because she's not working right now. And it's like it's nothing I could do to make her happy. So it's like I'm just running out of options, and I'm frustrated. I'm on an hour of sleep right now. I do 12-hour, 10-hour shifts at my security job. I'm tired. I almost didn't get up to come to work this morning. I almost lost my job. I don't have a mom or dad like she does. She has mom and dad houses in Stone Mountain, Conyers, where she could go. I have nowhere else to go. This is my only my only place of residence at this time.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any cross-examination, Ms. Falk?
No, Your Honor, no questions for this victim.
All right. Ms. Helen?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Mr. Gales, you can mute yourself and we'll hear from the other attorney on the other side before I give my ruling. All right, go ahead, Ms. Helen.
Yes, Judge, and I just want to make sure that Ms. Moore understands that we do understand she does remember that she has in her history possession of marijuana. However, again, I didn't hear aggressive, violent charges. I do hear the testimony from Mr. Gales, and he stated all that he stated, Your Honor, but we are still asking for that signature bond. Again, effectively a surety bond for Ms. Moore would be no bond. She's not working, has no income, and no one else to bond her out, Judge.
Okay, but I did hear she has family here in the Atlanta area. Is that
Judge, she has family, but none of those individuals are able to help bond her out.
okay? Okay. All right, I'm going to order the $2,500 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 3751 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. I'm going to order no further contact with William Gales. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order a one-time police escort back to that location in order for Ms. Moore to retrieve any items. Ms. Moore, you are not to go back there without a police escort if you have any personal belongings that you need to get. If you do go back without them, you will be arrested. You are to have no further contact with Mr. Gales. I'm going to order, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you're on bond. And I'm wanting to order the 1-day anger awareness course. But I'm not sure if you're going to be able to do that if you're unemployed. Does the state have anything to say about that condition?
In this situation, because of the nature of the offense, and as we've heard from Mr. Gales, the prior instances, we would ask that it be imposed. I understand that she may not be able to afford it at this time, but at some point between now and, when this case goes any further, I think it would be necessary.
Okay. All right, I'm going to continue on and add that condition, the 1-day anger awareness course as well. All right, that should conclude this matter. If there's nothing else I need to take up.
No, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me, Your Honor. My attorney,
You want to ask your attorney or you want to ask the judge?
my attorney
All right, go ahead.
to the phone.
Yeah. Ms. Helen,
Yes.
can you call 22392? And Your Honor, we got position number 11, Mr. Michael Miller.
That'll be my position as well. So did you want me to call her first, or we can just go ahead and do Miller?
She wants to talk to you about doing a TPO.
So Your Honor, are we going to do Miller first, or?
Yes, let's do that. And then you can call over there, Miss Helen, if you don't mind.
Understood, Judge.
All right, this is position number 11, 22 CR 0021111F, Michael Miller. You're charged with 1 count of obstruction of a law enforcement officer, 2nd count of battery, family violence, both with the offense date of April the 7th, 2022. Pretrial?
6 total. His last arrest was in the 90s. 1996.
All right, Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. On this case, this occurred again yesterday on April 7th. It happened at 954 Washington Street in Atlanta, Georgia. Officers arrived at that incident location and spoke to Miss Yolando Kino, which is Y-A-L, excuse me, let me start again. Y-O-L-A-N-D-O, Kino, K-E-E-N-O. She and the defendant reside together. According to Ms. Kino, the defendant had struck her in the face twice during a verbal dispute. Officers then spoke with the defendant, who actually admitted to slapping Ms. Kino in the face. He claimed he had done so because she put her hand in her pants and then put her hand in his face and told him to smell. And apparently that resulted in him slapping her in the face. Officers were able to observe visible swelling to Ms. Kino's face. The officers then tried to arrest the defendant based on the fact that he admitted to the offense as well as to the injury to Ms. Kino. However, he resisted, pulled away, and would not comply with the officers' verbal instructions. And again, according to both the defendant and Ms. Kino, they have been together for a year. We acknowledge the history is remote. However, based on, again, the incident itself, we would ask for a $3,000 total surety bond. That's going to be $2,500 on the battery offense, $500 on the willful obstruction. We are asking for no further contact with Ms. Kino and a stay away from 954 Washington Street. We are agreeable to a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve belongings, and we are asking for no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 1-day anger awareness. Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Helen?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Miller is 62 years old. He currently is on a fixed income, has a 9th grade education, Your Honor. However, he is a lifetime resident of Fulton County, has one daughter, did have a son who passed away in 2013. As you heard from his history, Judge, it was 26 years ago since his last interaction with any type of policing force. Judge, we're going to ask for a signature bond today of no more than $1,500. A bond of anything else, Judge, is effectively no bond for Mr. Miller. He is on a fixed income. He cannot afford to put towards any type of bond of his own money, Your Honor. And so again, we are asking for that signature bond. And if Your Honor feels that he is ineligible, then a surety bond of no more than 1,000 for the battery, family violence, and then 500 for the obstruction, Your Honor.
Your Honor, Ms. Keno is here. I don't know if Your Honor would like to sound for her to see if she would like to speak.
All right, Ms. Keno, would you like to address the court? Can you unmute yourself? Hold on, I can't hear you. Okay, trying to hear you. Would you like to address the court? Still can't hear you. Hold on a second, we cannot hear you. Yeah, cannot hear you. Miss Grace, is there anything showing as to why we cannot hear her?
Let me check with the host.
Okay.
I think Ms. Champion said that she is not up under the audio. That's how come.
She
he's
needs to
asking for
join
me
with audio, Your Honor.
Audio.
She needs to log out and log back in and join with audio.
All right, Ms. Keno, we cannot hear you. So you, as you could hear them, you know how to log out and log back in.
She said, no, ma'am.
That's the only way we're going to be able to hear her. She needs to log out and click back on the Zoom link and log back in and hit join with audio, I'm sorry.
Your Honor, can we go to another position?
We can. I'm seeing if she comes back in. If she doesn't, real quick, then we'll go to another position. Yes, Deputy, which one?
Position number 1, Mr. Austin Elman, and that was.
There she is. Here she is. She's connecting now, and I see connecting to audio. So I'm sorry, Deputy. Here she comes.
Okay.
All right, now unmute yourself, Ms. Keno. Ms. Keno, unmute yourself. It's a little red microphone. There you go. Now start talking. Still cannot hear you. I'm going to have to move along the essence of time.
And Your Honor, what I would ask Ms. Keno to do is to type her number into the chat. I will have our victim witness advocate give her a call and get her any feeling she has in regard to this case, which we will then communicate to the court at our next available break.
Right. Okay. Can you type your number into the chat so that the victim witness advocate can call you?
And Ms. Keno, you can direct message me so that way you're not putting it in the general chat. All right. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Deputy, we'll go to the first position. Is that your next case?
Yes, position number 1, Mr. Austin.
Okay. And we'll come back to that. We'll come back to Mr. Miller. All right, this is 22 CR 002103A. Zach Austin Elman. You're charged with 1 count of expired or no license on person, 2nd count of driving following too closely, 3rd count of no insurance, and a 4th count of driving hit and run. And then duty of the driver to stop at or return to the scene of an accident, all with the offense date of 11/17/2021. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I have the 4 charges. All right, pretrial.
You got Georgia history and the state of Washington history. 2014 battery DV, Georgia. 2020 suspended license, that was in Georgia. Hold on. As far as Washington, got a 2012 person under the influence, suspended license conviction. Another 2012, same thing. 2011, suspended license conviction. Another 2011, suspended license conviction. 2010, same thing. 2008, same thing. I'll stop there.
All right. And
I'll be representing the state.
I'm sorry, Ms. Segura. Yes, Mr. Segura. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, this incident occurred on November the 17th, 2021 at the instant location at Howell Mill Road at Ridgeway Avenue, Atlanta. In this instance, at the intersection of Howell Mill Road and Ridgeway, the defendant was involved in a collision where he rear-ended a 2012 Chevy Malibu being driven by the victim. Both parties, the victim and the defendant, exited their vehicles, but the defendant refused to provide his name or provide his insurance information. The defendant then got back into his vehicle and fled the scenes. The victim was able to get photos of the defendant and his vehicle while he was fleeing. When police caught up to the defendant, they found out that he did not have a valid license and did not have one on the date of the incident. Alongside, the defendant was driving this vehicle with an expired tag that was actually registered to the previous owner of that vehicle. Alongside, based on information provided by the DMV, this vehicle that the defendant drove is not insured and was not insured at the time of the incident. The state is recommending a $3,000 surety bond, $500 for the license, expired license, $1,000 for driving too closely, $500 for no insurance, and $1,000 for driving hit and run, duty of drive to stop, for a total of $3,000 surety. We're also asking for the conditions of no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, and no driving without a valid license and insurance. We're making recommendations based on these facts, and mostly because of his long history of vehicular-related arrest. Again, as Petra has noted, in 2020, he got arrested for driving without a license suspending. Alongside, he also has a long history in Washington for driving without a license and also with DUIs. As Petra has now noted, he had these sort of crimes originated from 2004 and for DUI, 2005 for DUI and license revoked, 2007 for DUI, and 2007 and for every single year of 2012 for either driving without a license or driving while getting arrested for DUI. We are making known that we see this giant pattern, even though the early 2000 cases are somewhat remote. We clearly see a pattern that he keeps getting arrested for vehicle-related crimes for every single year consistently. And when he moved to Georgia, he also got arrested for similar crimes. Because of this pattern, we're really concerned that he'll reoffend if he is let out. Alongside, we're also concerned of his lack of community ties. As noted, he has a long history in Washington, and that we clearly note that the defendant is clearly has a preference for driving without any sort of license. Typically, one could say that doesn't matter if he doesn't have insurance or ID. As long as he has access to a vehicle, he will drive it, and there's a huge risk that he will drive it out of state. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
This is my case, Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you. Your Honor, Mr. Austin Elman is 46 years of age. He expressed to me that he has been a Georgia resident since 2012. He does have family members also residing in the state. Mr. Austin Elman also attended college, and he's also gainfully employed at the Circle K gas station, where he's been working for the past 5 years, Your Honor. Mr. Austin Elman expressed to me that the vehicle in question does not belong to him. He said that belongs to someone that he resides with. We are disputing these allegations at this time so we can get further information and provide a discovery. Your Honor, we are asking for a signature bonds on Mr. Austin Elman's behalf. I do believe he was put on the pretrial recommended list, so we're asking the court to consider that. He did express to me that he is not going to be able to make a bond no more than 1,500 at this time. So if the court does find that he is ineligible for the signature bond, we are asking for a bond amount no more than 1,500 at this time.
That was a typo.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, that recommendation was it was a mistake.
Okay, I didn't have him on the recommendation. So you're saying he should be or he should not be?
He should not have been on there.
Okay, I don't have him on there. Okay.
My apologies. I had it on my list, but I'm still asking for the signature bond despite Mr. Toussaint's remarks.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I could butt in, I want to say that even though the defendant could deny the allegations, it is noted on the police report that the victim identified the defendant based on photo, and he clearly was able to point out who the defendant was at the time of the incident.
And Your Honor, we haven't been provided any pictures. The state hasn't provided any pictures, and we don't see the alleged victim on the screen. So again, we are disputing these allegations until discovery can be provided for. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to order a surety bond in the amount of $3,000, $500 for the first charge, expired in a license, $1,000 for driving or following too close, $500 on the third charge of no insurance, and $1,000 on the hit and run duty to return. So that'll be a total of a $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to also order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that's all that I need to order this time. There doesn't need to be any contact or anything with the victim, does it? Because I don't think the state asked for that, did you, Mr. Segura?
We haven't.
Okay. All right. I think that, I know one last thing, no driving by the defendant unless you have a valid license from DDS and or insurance, or both. So otherwise you should not be driving while on bond unless you have those two items, a valid driver's license and valid insurance. All right, that should conclude this matter.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Who do we have next?
Your Honor, we got position number 5, Mr. Brian Dalrymple.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, this is position 22 CR 002105B. Brian Dalrymple, you're charged with 1 count of fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer. 2nd count of driving while license suspended or revoked. 3rd count obstruction of a law enforcement officer. And 4th count possession of alcohol or possession of open alcohol container. And a 5th count of making an improper U-turn. All with the offense date of 3/24/2022. Ms. Torrey, I'm sorry, pretrial.
28 total. Between California, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina. Last arrest January 2021. Hold on. Use of a firearm by a convicted felon during the commission of a crime. Possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission, sale of marijuana. Removal or falsification of motor vehicle engine identification. All that's open, 21 SC 178606. 2019 identity theft fraud, 3, 4. That's 6 counts of that out of Fayette County. 2019 suspended license arrest. 2018 financial transaction card fraud. 2011 FTA, 2010 FTA. Hold on. He was arrested in New Jersey 2016 for false reports to law enforcement. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right, Ms. Sari.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, an officer was patrolling the area of Piedmont Road when he observed a vehicle driven by the defendant making a legal U-turn. The officer conducted a traffic stop and spoke with the defendant. The defendant asked if he was being pulled over, and when the officer stated yes, the defendant took off at a high rate of speed. The officer was able to catch up with the defendant, and when he finally stopped, the defendant then fled on foot. The officer located a empty can of beer in the cup holder in the vehicle, and the defendant's driver's license was also revoked for non-payment of child support. And Your Honor, about 2 hours later, the defendant's girlfriend attempted to report this vehicle as stolen. Your Honor, as we've heard from pretrial, the defendant does have a 2010, 2011 FTA. He also has out of Georgia, but he also has a 2002 fugitive from justice out of California, a 2009 fugitive from justice out of North Carolina. He has an ag unlicensed operation of a motor vehicle in the second degree. That's a guilty conviction. Driving while license suspended in 2005, that's a guilty conviction. A DUI from 2003 in New York, a guilty conviction. That open case for use of firearm during the commission of a felony, Your Honor, he was given a $15,000 good bond, but he sits before us today. This defendant does have a propensity to be a flight risk. He's a risk of reoffending, and he's not only a multi-state, but a multi-county offender. He has history out of Gwinnett, Sandy Springs, DeKalb, Douglas, and Fulton. Our recommendation in this case is a $6,000 surety bond. That's $2,000 on the fleeing and $1,000 on the remaining charges. And conditions of no driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Nothing further.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'd like to consult with my attorney.
Your Honor,
my name is Eddie Key. I'm an attorney. I'm the attorney for Mr. Dalrymple.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. We are requesting a signature bond in this case. We understand that Mr. Dalrymple does have a past, but he strongly denies the allegations associated with the charges in this case. As a matter of fact, Mr. Dalrymple has informed me that he was out of town at the time and his vehicle was stolen. Again, strongly denying any allegations that he was even the driver on the date in question. As a matter of fact, as soon as he was informed that there was a warrant, he turned himself in. Mr. Dalrymple has been a resident here in Georgia for over 15 years. He has a catering company that he runs with his wife, and they cater for the CDC, GBI, juvenile court. And Mr. Dalrymple is also actually an entertainer. He is a singer that was in the group Soul for Real. And he is currently on tour with Keith Sweat. He travels in and out of town on the weekends on certain dates. Obviously, we would not have an issue with giving the court any of those dates. Mr. Dalrymple does have an open case, but he is has been handling that situation adamantly. He's been making all efforts to get back and to get it, things in his life back on track. This situation unfortunately occurred just recently, and again, strongly denying the allegations. We don't feel he is not a threat to flee. We understand, like I said, he had a checker pass, but a lot of those things occurred a long time ago in regards to the FTAs and things of that nature. He's making him and his wife are making all efforts to get their lives back, getting his life back on track and be a positive individual in the community. He also participates in many community activities when it comes to South Fulton, cities around Atlanta, volunteering his time. Again, we don't feel that there were no victims in this case. And Mr. Dalrymple has, has no intent to not show up for court or not abide by all the rules required by this court. If you feel that there is he does not qualify for pretrial and a signature bond, we request that he have a $1,000 surety bond. That request, he can only make money if he performs and works in his catering business. He's an entrepreneur. So that's how he makes money right now. He makes money doing performances, and he also makes money with their catering company. So a bond of $6,000 we feel is in far excess of what should be allowed in this case.
And Your Honor, I just want to note that his latest FTA was in 2019, so that's not too far remote, as well as the defense statements that this defendant does work out of town, most likely out of state as well. So we are reinstating that $6,000 surety bond to ensure that he will answer for the trial.
Your Honor, Mr. Dalrymple is a resident. He does travel. Again, we have no issue with providing the state a calendar that shows any travel dates. Unfortunately, as an entertainer, he must travel to make money. That's his occupation, and we have no issue with providing the court with a calendar of those dates that he will be traveling.
Well, even if I had a calendar of the dates he'll be traveling, he still has a duty to come back to a court date. Just because he's traveling, he's either going to have to be a no-show cancel but come to court, I guess, or have you as his attorney to show up for him. I am concerned about a FTA in 2019, and I've had many.
Your Honor, just really quickly, those travel dates are on the weekends right now. Just so you know. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just.
Yeah, then he should be able to return, but he seems to be gainfully employed in the past, I guess, with entertaining and a catering business. So you've not told me that he's unemployed and can't make bond, correct?
Your Honor, no. He's currently an entrepreneur, so anytime that he makes funds, he has to be there. And he has been out of work as of late, but the tour actually just started with Keith Sweat. I believe this is going to be the first performance they have coming up. So he hasn't made any money off of that yet. And they've also had to make cancellations with their catering company just as of late because of this situation. So they have been kind of strapped for cash as of late, but once he's out and able to perform, as an entertainer and also perform duties, he will be in a situation where he can be more financially stable.
I'm a little concerned of history in California, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina. Is he traveling around catching cases, or, I'm kind of concerned about that. That we have some substantial history in a lot of different states.
And also in multiple counties in Georgia as well, Your Honor.
We understand your concern, Your Honor. Like I said, Mr. Dalrymple is 46 years old, so he has lived in different states, but within the last 15 years, he's been here in Georgia.
Okay. All right, I'm going to issue a $5,000 surety bond, which will be $1,000 on each of the charges. Well, that will total up to $5,000 for that surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And no driving unless he has a valid license from DDS or some state and insurance, I believe. Or did we have an insurance charge?
No insurance
No,
charge on it.
I'm sorry, no insurance charge, just a valid license. Said that he was driving while his license was revoked or suspended due to child support. So I guess he'll need to square up with child support to see how to get his license reinstated. But that also tells me that his arrears is very high, or he has not been paying his child support for them to suspend his license. So with all that I've heard in this case, I will issue a $5,000 surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And no driving unless he has a valid license. All right.
Thank you,
Understood, Your
Judge.
Honor.
All
Thank
right.
you, Your Honor.
All right. Who do we have next, Deputy?
Your Honor, are we ready to go back to position number 11, Mr. Michael Miller, or are we still on hold for that?
Now let's go back to that regardless, and let me go ahead and give a ruling on that. Ms.
We're
Fogg?
ready.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. We did speak to, we were able to get in touch and get some information on that case. So let me just pull that up really quickly. We did speak with Ms. Keno, and Ms. Keno stated that she does want to drop the charges, however, and she wants him to come back home. However, she doesn't deny that the incident actually happened. She acknowledges that she was in fact slapped in the face. As far as Mr. Miller is concerned, however, I think the state's concern with allowing him back into the household at this time is this happened yesterday at 10:45 p.m. So between 9:15 and 10:45. So we are not even 24 hours out from this incident. So, you know, the state has some legitimate concerns here where there is a family violence battery about allowing the person who's been arrested for that, who both confessed to slapping her and officers were able to see that injury to her face, to allow him back into the home at this time.
Okay. All right, Miss Helen.
Yes, Judge. When I spoke to Mr. Miller, he was under the impression that he wanted no violent contact, and that was also what Ms. Keno wanted, and I believe that's also what she's spoken to Deputy SGA Falk. So we are still asking for that signature bond, again, due to him being on fixed income. And if not, that signature bond, we're asking for a surety bond no more of $1,000 for the battery, and then $500 for the obstruction, Your Honor.
Okay. My biggest concern here, I guess, is the same thing that Deputy Falk stated, that it has not been very much time for the cooling off period with these parties. And this location, the 954 Washington Street, do we understand or know who resides there? Both parties resided there?
I am under the impression Mr. Miller resides there and that his name is on a lease.
Do you have any information on that, Ms. Falk?
Well, Your Honor, what I didn't hear is whether Ms. Keno resides there as well. And my understanding is that they live together at that location. So unless Ms. Keno has moved subsequent to about 9:15 last night, she is living in that location as well.
Mr. Miller.
Keno on the phone if she wants to speak. She's on the phone.
Well, you can ask her that question for me.
For over a year, and I do not want to press any charges.
Does she live at that location?
Yes, I live at the location. I have bills and everything that comes here. I've been living at the location for over a year now.
Well, I'm going to hope that Mr. Miller has somewhere to go. Both names on the lease?
No, just his name.
Just his name?
Yes.
Okay, do you have somewhere else to go reside?
Not really, but I'm gonna have to.
I'm
I just
sorry,
have a home out of his own home.
I didn't hear you.
He had it for over a year, and I've been living here for over a year.
No, that wasn't my question. My question is, do you have somewhere else to go reside?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond.
And Your Honor, I would urge we not kick the victim of a domestic violence case out of the home she's resided in for a year.
Yeah, well, and that's what I was getting to. I'm going to order Mr. Miller to stay away from the location of 954 Washington Street. If he makes bond, we can get a one-time escort to that location to retrieve his personal items.
Excuse me, I have no place to go. I've been staying there 3 years in my apartment. I just don't live there, I work there also.
I'm not for sure what type of work you do there.
I could keep the grounds up.
Oh, you're the maintenance person at that complex?
Yes.
And you've been doing that for 3 years?
Yes.
I understand I'm in a quagmire here, Ms. Falk. You know, and I know there are resources for persons who are victims of domestic violence as far as some temporary housing, but I certainly don't want the both of them going back at this juncture.
Yes, Your Honor. If I kind of may have a resolution to this. So if Miss Keno does have another place to stay, what I would ask is that with a one-time law enforcement escort, the defendant be allowed to go to the house to make sure Miss Keno has vacated the residence before he takes possession.
Right. Let me do that. And I'm sorry, Miss Grace. A $3,000 surety bond. We've got that in place, which will be $1,500 on each of the charges. I don't think I said that before. And what I'm going to do is to order no further contact with the victim, Yolanda Keno. And Mr. Miller, the only way that you can return to that location is when you get out, you need to arrange for a police escort to go back there to protect yourself in the sense of making sure that she has vacated and is not there. If she is there, you're going to have to find somewhere to stay until she vacates that residence. And then once she has vacated, then you're able to go back and reside there. But in the interim, you cannot, and you need to return with law enforcement so that you are protected if you go back and she's still there. And so that nothing else will happen that may result in your arrest. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you're on bond, Mr. Miller. And I'm going to also order that one-day anger awareness course for you as well. All right. If that concludes everything, Ms. Helen and Ms. Falk, are we clear on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Who do we have next?
Yeah, you have position number 13, Mr. Alafume.
Okay.
My coworker has that history because he went to felony, so I'll defer to the state.
Okay, thank you. This is 22 CR 002112E. Mr. Alafume, you're charged with 1 count of battery, substantial physical harm with the offense date of April the 22nd, 2021. Is it Ms. Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sorry. As far as history is concerned, Your Honor, he is a convicted felon. I saw 32 cycles in the GCIC. Recent arrest as a VGCSA in 2019, VGCSA in 2017. He's on probation. Under 19 SC 173307 for willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer in VGCSA. And I'll get into the facts now, Your Honor. The offense date is April 22nd, 2021, at the location of 2024 Simmons Avenue in College Park. Officers were dispatched to the above location in reference to a domestic disturbance. They took out a warrant for battery as the victim in our case, Miss Tiki Wilson. That's T-I-K-I, last name Wilson, common spelling. Reported that the defendant punched her and struck her with a closed fist to the face, causing lacerations to her mouth, swelling to her face, and bruising to her eyes. As pretrial mentioned, he was arrested. He went to felony first appearance this morning because he was arrested yesterday on felony charges. Our office did try to get in contact with Ms. Wilson, but we were unable to reach her. We believe that this defendant has a high likelihood to reoffend. He has over 30 arrests, multiple felony convictions. As I mentioned at the outset, he is currently on probation. He got 5 served 6 months under that willful obstruction case. And that was very recently, that was 5/9/2020. The arrests for yesterday were possession of a firearm by a convicted felon that involves a gun that's very dangerous, obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and criminal use of an article altered ID mark. We also believe he represents a danger to the community. He has a history that includes convictions for terroristic threats where he threatened to murder someone, and that was a conviction. He has a simple battery conviction in 2014. The terroristic threats, let me give you the case number, Your Honor. That was 14 SC 130363. The simple battery in 2015, he was convicted. That's 14 CR 002-285. He had a conviction with a theft by taking, 17 SC 151177. That was reduced from robbery, and that was another victim in that case. In light of this violent history, in light of the open probation, the recent arrests, we believe an appropriate bond in this case would be a $7,500 surety bond. Stay away from the incident location. No further contact with the victim, Tiki Wilson. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Helen?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Olufume is 40 years old. As you heard, Your Honor, he does have a history. However, I believe I calculated it was like 8 years, 2014 for that simple battery. I didn't hear the year for the terroristic threats, but I did not hear a recent history of a violent or terror, again, the last 8 years, because currently Mr. Olufume has been focused on working with the Spartan Protective Security Services and has been doing so for the last several months. He is trained in a trade of upholstery, and he is currently the father of a 4-month-old child, Your Honor, or has one on the way, and that child is 4 months. So, Your Honor, we are asking for a reduction in that bond. Effectively, that amount of bond is a no bond for Mr. Olufume because he does believe he will have that job if he's able to get out soon enough. But if not, he believes he may lose that job. So again, he does not have the income to afford that amount of a bond. We're asking for a surety bond of no more than $3,000, Your Honor. $1,000 for the battery, $1,000 for the possession of a firearm, $500 for the altered ID, $500 for the obstruction, Your Honor.
Okay, I only have one charge for Mr. Olin. Is it Olufume?
Yes, I'm sorry if that was confusing. It's just a simple battery charge that we're here on today. I was referencing those additional charges. That's what he was arrested for yesterday because this incident occurred in 2021. There was a warrant out for his arrest. So he was picked up and we're on the simple battery, but he was picked up on those felony charges that I just mentioned.
Your Honor, from the calendar, I just see the battery substantial physical harm, but there were our other charges that I thought that were listed here. So it's just the battery, Judge. We're just asking for a substantial reduction to no more than 2,000 for the battery. I did have other charges, but Your Honor is saying that only showing the one for case 22 CR 002112E.
Right, correct. Is that correct, Ms. Grace?
Yes, Judge, just the one charge.
Okay.
Correct, Judge.
Okay, just making sure.
And Your Honor, I just want to make sure it's a battery, not a simple battery.
Yeah, battery substantial physical harm.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, make sure we're all on the same page with that.
Correct, Judge. I have a battery substantial physical harm.
Okay. Did the state request a stay away?
Yes, Your Honor. We have requested a stay away from the incident location and no further contact with the victim in this case.
All right.
Yeah,
Yes, go ahead, Ms.
No, I
Allen.
just want to just quickly, I understand that some of his history is more remote and you're talking about 2014, but I want to emphasize that he was arrested yesterday. He knows he's a convicted felon and he did have a gun, which suggests to me that he is a danger to our victim and a danger to the community.
All right. All right, I'm going to order a $2,500 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the incident location. And I'm going to order no further contact with Tiki Wilson, the victim in this case. And I believe that is it at this time, unless anyone else has anything else that I need to take up.
What's the address, the stay away address, Your Honor?
Ms. Harmon?
Yes, it's 2024 Simmons Avenue, College Park, Georgia.
Thank you.
All right, that should conclude this case.
Thank you, Judge.
Mhm.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 16. Mr. Thomas, position number 16.
This is 22 CR 002117B. Alma Triez Thomas, you're charged with one count of criminal trespass with the offense date of April the 7th, 2022. Pre-trial.
This is fifth arrest. Last was back in January for trespass. He has an open trespass and terrorist threat. December 2021 trespass arrest. His terrorist threats came from 2020. That's it.
All right. Ms. Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor. As you mentioned, the offense date was April 7th, 2022, and the location is 200 Edgewood Avenue Northeast, and that is the location of the 200 Edgewood Apartments complex. The defendant entered that apartment complex at that location, and what he would do is he would ask different residents to stand him up to the 4th floor or so, and he would stay in the study area of the complex. And when he was approached by management, he claimed to be the guest of another resident, but in fact, he was not. He was asked to leave on numerous occasions by property management, and it was even given an APD warning, an official one, on January 6th, a few months ago, 2022. Additionally, he was previously arrested on that property in another APD case. I think, as you heard from pretrial, the most recent arrest of the short history that he does have are criminal trespass. As he mentioned, it's an open case. He was arrested at this same location, 200 Edgewood Avenue Northeast. He was given a signature bond on that case, and that's an open case. He knows he's not supposed to be at that location. On December 6, 2021, it was a criminal trespass conviction. That was a different address. And then the year before, in December 8th of 2020, another criminal trespass arrest with a different address. In light of the open case, in light of the multiple warnings, we think in this case, and in light of the fact that he got a signature bond the last time for his January case, we believe a $1,500 surety bond is appropriate in this case. We would also ask that you would order him to stay away from the incident location, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, Ms. Helen?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Thomas is 30 years old. When I spoke to him, he told me that he's a Georgia State a student. He's got 2 years left before he graduates, Your Honor. And I bring that up because the study area is where he was found or trying to get access to. Your Honor, he was merely using that access area. Again, he told me as a student, he's very focused on his studies, using those areas to study in. He also is employed with Coca-Cola as a forklift driver, has been doing so for the last several years, Your Honor. He's from Muskogee County, and he does not have currently any children. However, his mom and his dad are lifetime residents of Muskogee County. And so, Judge, we are asking for the bond to stay the same as the state recommended, $1,500, but as a signature bond, Your Honor. We are asking for a signature bond for Mr. Thomas because, again, he's got 2 more years before he's going to graduate. He's got finals. He's got tests currently coming up. And when I spoke to him, again, this is a criminal trespass. I do not believe that he will commit this type of crime again because he will understand this is very serious. This could impact his education and him graduating. So, Your Honor, yes, we are asking for a signature bond, again, of no more than $1,500.
And Your Honor, just to follow up on that, this says that the information I have says this is an apartment complex, not anything having to do with a study hall or anything like that. Moreover, he was asked to leave on multiple occasions. He's gotten notice. And if his education is his concern, as Ms. Helen suggests, then and this criminal activity is a concern, then he is on notice that this activity is inappropriate and that he cannot be specifically at this location. He's been told. And moreover, Your Honor, he has this open case where he has received a signature bond and he did not follow that bond order. Here we are again. So I would ask that you would consider that and keep this as a surety bond, and maybe he would take it more seriously.
All right. I'm going to order a $1,500 surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I'm going to order a stay away. Once again, Mr. Thomas, you are to stay away and not go back to 200 Edgewood Avenue Southeast, not in the study hall, not to visit anyone or anything, because you're going to be right back here in the Fulton County Jail. So again, $1,500 surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, and a stay away from the incident location, 200 Edgewood Avenue Southeast. All right. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Next, Your Honor, we got position number 17, Mr. Zamora Carvajal.
Okay. This is case number 22 CR 002115E. Miss Zamora Carvajal, you're charged with 2 counts of theft by taking for the offense date of 3/7/2022. Pre-trial.
No, this is 4th arrest. Last arrest was in January, given false name, Clayton County. 2019 misdemeanor possession of marijuana, possession of a controlled substance. In 2018, marijuana dismissed.
All right. It's 22. Oh, I've already said that. I'm sorry, Miss Harmon.
Yes, Your Honor. The offense date was March 7th, 2022, and the location is 55 Gilmer Street in Atlanta. The warrant indicates that the defendant took a backpack with personal items belonging from victim 1, and I'm gonna spell it Tairtou, last name Burton, Bertin, and it indicates that these items were removed from a secure location. On the same day, the defendant appeared to take a laptop computer and personal items from another victim with the name of first name Hagan, last name is Hylick. Your Honor, his history is short, but it's very recent. It looks like he's become very active in the last few years, and that's a concern of ours. It suggests that he is willing to engage and may be likely to re-offend in criminal history. So our recommendation does take into account his limited history, and it's $1,500 surety bond on each count for a total of $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with the victims. Stay away from the incident location. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, Ms. Helen?
Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Zamora is 21 years old. Currently, another Georgia State student is a senior, currently has a 3.5 GPA and a psych major. Your Honor, this person has 4 credits left from graduating. So this is a very, very hard situation for them to be in. They are currently from Clayton County. His parents are lifetime residents of Clayton County. And Judge, I did hear the history. I didn't hear a repeat of theft charges. So I do believe that, he understands how serious these charges are and will not re-offend if given a signature bond today. And again, Judge, we are asking for a signature bond of no more than $1,000 for Mr. Zamora, $500 for the theft by taking and $500 for the second theft by taking, Your Honor. And again, he does understand how serious these charges are. You can see from his history, this is not a violent, long-standing offender. And he would like to get back to school. He's got 4 credits left. He doesn't want anything to stand in his way, Your Honor, and he will appear for all court dates.
All right. And Ms. Harmon, were the items retrieved?
Unfortunately, Your Honor, I don't have, I can't say that concretely at this moment. I just have the warrants on this case. It's just limited. So we still need to get reports in these cases.
All right. And it's the 2 victims that were at the same location, the 55 Gilmer Street?
Yes. Yes.
Do we know if that's an apartment complex, if it's a restaurant, if it's a dorm? Do we know?
I should have looked that up earlier, but I am not sure. Let me just see if I can determine from the warrant very quickly.
Are you aware at all, Miss Helen, what that location is?
No, Your Honor. I'll look it up now.
I was wondering if it's associated with the university or
It's
not.
the Georgia State University Student Center, Your Honor.
Okay. And that was my brain, but I didn't want to step out on faith on that. So that's the student center?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so I'm assuming with the stay away requested, is that the campus, and is Mr. Zamora a student on the campus, and can that be, adequately done for him to stay away from the student center if he's 4 credits away from graduating and residing on campus? I don't know. Is that something we could ask him, Ms. Helen? Does he reside on campus?
Mrs. Zamora, you got a courtroom 2, you're muted. What's your address? Are you on campus?
No, I'm not on campus. I can stay away from the student center. None of my classes are in the student center.
Okay.
Great. Okay. I'm looking at this $3,000 surety bond. And I'm going to order a stay away from the 55 Gilmer Street, which is the Student Center for Georgia State. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And Mr. Zamora, you need not go back to the Student Center. Want you to obviously graduate, get this behind you, but I'm going to order the surety bond of $3,000, $1,500 on each charge right now. All right. Anything else I need to take up on this matter?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Who do we have next, Deputy?
Your Honor, we got position number 8, Mr. Favors, position number 8. And Your Honor, what was that, the bond amount on Mr. Zamora, position 17?
$3,000 surety bond position. I'm sorry, 17.
Yeah, what was the bond amount?
Yeah, $3,000 surety bond.
All right, thank you. And this is position number 8, Mr. Favors, I'm sorry.
Okay. Do we have anyone who's bonded out, Deputy?
Yes, we do.
We don't. Okay. All right, this is 22 CR 002108H. Mr. Dimitri Favors, you're charged in 1 count of simple battery family violence with the offense date of February 27th, 2022. Pretrial, have anything?
8 total on probation, cruelty in the first, ag assault, strangulation, 17 SC 153715. Just like he may have an open ag stalking and obstruction as well. Hold on. I got 2018 simple battery family violence conviction, FTA, cruelty in the first, and ag assault. The 2017 ag assault conviction, 2016 battery arrest, 2012 failure to appear simple battery conviction, 2010. That's it.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, officers responded to 419 Amal Drive, that's AMAL Drive in Atlanta. They responded regarding a physical dispute. Dispatch received a call from the victim, whose name is Earl Tucker, stating that he was attending the defendant's birthday party and he had to leave early to go to work the next morning. When the victim attempted to leave, the defendant got upset, started arguing with the victim and blaming him for ruining his birthday party. The defendant then slapped the victim in his face. And when officers arrived to the home, the victim's mother, whose name is Monica Hart, she explained to the officers that the victim was hit by the defendant, and she was also hit as well when she got in between the two. Your Honor, we've heard from pretrial regarding the open ag stalking case that's not against the same victim. This defendant also has an ag assault, strangulation, and cruelty that was a guilty conviction, and the victims in that case were different as well. He has a 2010 simple battery that resulted in a guilty conviction, and also a simple battery family violence that was against Miss Monica Hart, where he was found guilty as well. He was just seen in court on 4/3 or for an arrest on 4/3/2022 regarding an obstruction. He does have a 2018 FTA, a 2012 FTA. So we do feel this defendant presents a risk of flight. He also presents a risk of reoffending. The state's recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond with conditions of no contact with the victim, a stay away, 1-day anger awareness course, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Nothing further.
Okay.
Your Honor, my client is 29 years old. He is married. He is the father of 4 children. They're 6, 5, 4, and a 7-month-old. Your Honor, this is not a family violence case. The parties do not live together and they do not have any sort of relationship. They are mere acquaintances, and a dispute did happen, Your Honor, but my client denies that he was the aggressor in that case. Your Honor, he is currently employed, he tells me, has to take care of these 4 children and his wife. He actually does not live in Fulton County at all. He does live in DeKalb County, tells me works at the Waffle House out on Flat Shoals Road in DeKalb County, Your Honor. He does have a family to support, Your Honor, and I'd like the court to take that into consideration in setting his bond. I do understand that he has a history and he does have some outstanding cases, Your Honor, but at the same time, his income is not great, and he does have 4 children to support and a wife. This alleged victim is not related to him that way, so there's no need for a stay away from the incident location because my client does not live there. It was just somewhere he was for his birthday party, Your Honor, and he doesn't mind staying away from the alleged victim.
And Your Honor, just to clarify,
Thank you. Sorry. I think you've frozen and gone out of me.
Yes.
We lost her. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, I was just looking into what was just stated by Ms. McLeod. And what I'm trying to see, it looks like, according to the warrant, that it states the 2 parties live together, and this is the victim's mother's boyfriend.
Okay.
Is what the warrant states. So obviously that would be something, if additional information becomes available that it says something otherwise, but not only does it say it in the actual elements of the offense, at the bottom, it said the parties involved all live together at, and then gives the address. So, you know, I understand Ms. McLeod's contention that they do not live together. Whoever took out the warrant seems very insistent that in fact they do. And I believe he would have based that on the information received by the parties at the time of the offense.
Well, I spoke with my client and he tells me that this person is an acquaintance of his and that they don't live together.
I don't know if we would call mother's boyfriend an acquaintance, but you know, however they want to name that, it's fine. But that's the information we have.
What are the names of our victims? We have Monica Hart. And who else? I thought there was a second victim.
I'm sorry, are we on Dimitri Favors?
We are.
Yeah.
And I don't
I'm
recall.
not having a Monica Hart.
So no, did I write that down incorrectly?
I'm not sure. I'm showing an Earl Tucker and Monica King is the mother.
Oh, I may have written down the wrong name.
Oh, I think it's
The last
Monica Hart King. I believe
Okay.
is the name of the mother.
There you go, Monica Hart King.
Yes, my apologies, Your Honor.
Okay, I was gonna say, I didn't make that up, but I've been
No,
known
you
to
did
do
not.
that. So I'm sorry about that. I've been known to do it. Monica Hart King and Earl,
Earl, it says, let me circle back, Earl Tucker.
Tucker.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. I guess.
I'm sorry for just coming out of compulsion, but Earl Tucker, he do not live in our household. It's just me, Monica, and our children. I promise. I will not lie.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask who that was talking. That's you, Mr. Favors.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me first give a ruling on the bond. I'm going to order a $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And I'm going to say, here we go, attorneys, if I order a that you can return to the 419, is it a mall drive that Mr. Earl Tucker, as one of our victims, I'm going to order no further contact with him and no further violent contact with Monica Hart King, who is your mom. Is that correct?
That's not my mom, that's my wife.
Oh, I'm sorry, your wife.
Yes, ma'am.
No further violent contact with her and no further contact with Earl Tucker.
Yes, ma'am.
And I do know that this incident happened in February
Yes, Your Honor.
and you were arrested on yesterday.
Yes, Your Honor. And he has told me that he's been in jail in DeKalb County for the past 5 days.
Okay, I was getting ready to say the lapse there. Okay. He was in DeKalb for a little bit as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm going to say, Mr. Favors, that you can return to the 419 Amal Drive as long as Mr. Earl Tucker is not there, and that you agree to have no further violent contact with your wife.
Yes, ma'am, but I don't live like that though. That's where I just had my party at. I live in 2625 Tyler Drive.
Okay,
That-
you all did say that this
That
was
is
a birthday
correct.
party.
2625 Tolliver Drive, Ellenwood, Georgia is the address.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to order a stay away from there at this point, but no further violent contact with Monica Hart King and no contact with Earl Tucker, wherever that may be.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know if it matters if we need to do a stay away from that address, if it was just a location for a party. I guess not.
No, the state's fine without a stay away.
Okay. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond, Mr. Favors.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much, Judge.
Okay.
Your Honor, that concludes my business for the day. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Have a good weekend.
You too, Your Honor. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. All right. And we have, looks like one more case left, Deputy.
Yeah, position number 15, Mr. Taylor, Adrian Taylor.
Oh, what about 4? We have 2 cases left.
Who is position number 4?
That's Colbert.
He's a medical reset, Your Honor.
Oh, 4 is a medical reset. I
That's
thought I also saw Alfonso Colbert Jr. on the screen. Mr. Colbert, do you understand with Gregory Colbert? Are you here for that case?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's been medically reset for tomorrow, and we'll have to see what happens if he's able to come tomorrow. So you can get on Zoom at the same time tomorrow.
Did I miss position 14, Rodericus C or say?
He bonded out.
Ah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Ms. Fogg. I missed one. All right, he bonded out. Okay. So do you understand that, Mr. Colbert, is a medical reset? He will not be in court today. And so
Yeah.
you can try to get on tomorrow and maybe try to put in the chat or ask if he will be brought in tomorrow or not. Sometimes it might be Monday. It's hard to say. But check back tomorrow and maybe at the beginning of court, try to ask so that you don't have to sit through the whole court if he's going to be reset till Monday.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Now we're on to 15. Is that correct?
Correct, Judge.
Okay. 22 CR 002114C. You're Mr. Adrian Taylor.
Yes.
You're charged with 1 count of battery family violence with the offense date of March the 25th, 2022. Pretrial.
19 total, 2020 failure to appear. Underlying charges, forgery in the 4th degree and obstruction.
All right.
2019 possession of drug-related objects. 2018 simple battery family violence dismissed. He was acquitted for burglary, criminal damage to property, possession of tools in 2010. 2009 theft by receiving conviction. That's enough. That's it.
All right. Ms. Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor. As you mentioned, the offense date is 3/25/22. The location is 759 Willow Creek Drive in Sandy Springs. On that day, the officers were dispatched to that above location in reference to a domestic disturbance. The officers then met with the victim, Lavoria Murphy. Lavoria is Lavoria, last name Murphy, common spelling. She indicated to officers that the defendant was drinking and started an argument with her, and the parties do live together. The argument turned physical, and she indicated that the defendant began choking her and punching her in the face. The officers that reported did observe a knot to her left cheek with some bruising, bleeding, scratches on her neck and her arms, and they did take photographs of her injuries to document it. The defendant was not on the scene. Our office did try to reach out to Ms. Murphy, but she was not available. We believe that this defendant represents a danger to the victim. The allegations include an act of strangulation. Additionally, you heard from pretrial that he has multiple felony convictions. He did have a simple battery family violence arrest in 2018, and even though that was dismissed, it's there. We do have the very recent FTA in the forgery case, and that was in 2020. So we believe that based on those Ayala factors, a $4,000 surety bond due to his history and recent FTA would be appropriate. Stay away from the incident location, no further contact with the victim, 1-day anger awareness class, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Taylor is 42 years old. Currently, he is not working. He's applied to the state's disability for MH issues, but he is not working. However, he is waiting to hear back from that application to see if he'll receive disability. He's a lifetime resident of Fulton County. Mom and dad are both lifetime residents of Fulton County. I did hear the FTA. I looked up in Odyssey. I still have the address of a 759 Willow Creek Drive. I don't believe Mr. Taylor was aware of that FTA. That's the address I have for him, because he also mentioned to me that that address is in his name as well as Miss Murphy's. So, Your Honor, I would just ask again for a signature bond for Mr. Taylor. I do hear the history, but I did hear he was acquitted for that 2018 charge. Again, Your Honor, he has nowhere to go. If he's not able to return to the 759, he would effectively be homeless. If Ms. Murphy, or if there was a way to work that out. Mr. Taylor has his hand up. Is it possible that he could be unmuted?
I do have an address to go to, which is not too far from the jail. It's down Bankhead Highway.
Go ahead and give me that address, Mr. Taylor.
I will have to get that to you later. I would have to get my mother's permission.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. So when I spoke to him, he didn't have any of that information on him, not an address, not, a number. So his main location is the 759 Willow Creek, but honestly, Your Honor, if there is a stay away instituted there, he has another location. He would just have to contact his mother to get the physical address. Like I said, he is not working. He did apply for disability, but he's currently on no income, Judge. And so we are asking for that signature bond. If not a signature bond, a surety bond of no more than $1,000 for Mr. Taylor.
And Your Honor, we would insist on the stay away because of the serious allegations in the report that I reviewed, or the warrant that I reviewed. So I would be unwilling to change that condition or change my recommendation on that condition. But I do think, Your Honor, we have to kind of really take into consideration the recent FTA. I think that is the real basis for the surety bond outside of the danger to the victim, because it is so recent. It was a few years ago. So I do think that has to be seriously considered in doing a surety bond, and a decent surety bond in this case.
All right, I'm going to order a a $4,000 surety bond. I'm gonna order a stay away from the location of 759 Willow Creek Drive, since the defendant does have another address that he will provide
Ma'am,
to his attorney in the court. Hold on, and I'm gonna order a one-time police escort to return to that location to retrieve any personal belongings that the defendant may need to get from that location. I'm gonna order no further contact with Lavoria Murphy. I'm gonna order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I was inclined to do the one-day anger awareness course, but I'm not for sure if he'll be able to afford that. But I want to include it anyway.
Thank you.
All right. Is
Your
there
Honor.
anything else that you need to speak to your attorney with,
I-
Taylor?
You forgot I have the interview at Publix. I told you about the interview at Publix.
I mentioned to the court you had interviews lined up.
Yes, I do have an interview for Publix coming up. I have no money. All I have is food stamps. She knows that I have an address to go to, Your Honor. The failure to appear was handled the last time I went to court. I have no problem with coming back to court. The other incident, I will come to pretrial every day, do what I'm supposed to do. I did everything I was supposed to do. I didn't run. I went to court like I was supposed to. I'm just asking for a chance to get out there and find a job and do what I'm supposed to do. Please, please. I have no money. I've been working, trying to find interviews, the job, everything, doing everything I can to get a job. I'm in a program called PAD. They've been helping me find a place and all of that. I could go to my mom's house, continue looking for work. Please give me a chance with a signature bond. I have never done wrong by pretrial or nothing.
What's the state's position?
Your Honor, we're sensitive to the fact that the defendant is looking for work and trying to be employed, of course. However, we have to return to the Ayala factors because we're in a bond hearing, and I cannot ignore the FTA, and I cannot ignore the facts that I have in this incident. This is suggestive of real danger to this victim. And I
would not be around her. I would not be around her.
Do not interrupt. Come on, Mr. Taylor, that's it. We've heard you. Do not interrupt.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that we have to consider that that he is a danger to the victim, and that is one of the Ayala factors. And this recent FTA, I don't think that can be ignored. I think this is reasonable based on his history. He is a convicted felon. He does have a longer GCIC. I think this is reasonable in light of the defendant that we're looking at, in light of the actions, the facts of the crime, and the recent FTA. And that's the state's position. I think the $4,000 surety bond is reasonable.
All right. All right, I'm going to leave it at the $4,000 surety bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons in the one-day anger awareness course. You can get the one-time police escort once you bond out to return to that location.
I have no money.
Good luck to you.
I have no money.
All right. That's the ruling of the court.
Can I get the bond amount for number 16, please?
Number 16 is,
Yes,
was that $1,500 surety bond?
that's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Judge, we done?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'll see y'all next week sometime.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Your Honor, just to let the court know before we go over the calendar, we did submit a null pros on Miss Lane's case. I believe that is position
10.
For Your Honor's signature. I did email that to Miss Grace.
Okay.
And I have it.
Thank you, Miss Grace. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. And she was the signature bond anyway, but we'll go ahead and let her know case has been no pros. All right, whenever you're ready, Miss Grace.
I'm ready.
All right,
Position number one, $3,000 good bond. Position number two, 4,500 bond, sign on bond through jail. Position number three, 2,500 good bond. Position number four is reset for tomorrow's SCA calendar. Position number five is a $5,000 good bond. Position number six is a 3,500 pretrial bond per the judge. Position number seven is a 2,500 pretrial bond per the judge. Position number eight is a $3,000 good bond. Position number nine is a $2,000 good bond. Position number 10 is a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 11 is a $3,000 good bond. Position number 12 is a $2,500 good bond. Position number 13 is a $2,500 good bond. Position number 14 was released. Position number 15 is a $4,000 good bond. Position number 16 is a $1,500 good bond. And position number 17 is a $3,000 good bond.
all right. I think that's what I have. Anything else from anyone?
Yes, you're being that my internet connection is poor today. May I have the bond conditions for position 8, please?
Okay. Yes, thank you. You got your back there. Miss Falk jumped in for you, so we understand. Position 8 was a $3,000 surety bond. Anything else?
The conditions, I'm sorry.
Oh, the conditions, I'm sorry. It was a no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Help me, Miss Grace.
Position number 8, she said, correct?
Uh-huh, yes.
Yeah.
No further contact with Earl Tucker. No
Right.
further violent contact with Monica Hart King. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, and $3,000 good bond.
That is correct.
Thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else, everyone enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank
All right,
you.
bye-bye.